You may recall that Dullist was one of the main members of Veronia. However, you may also recall that Dullist in the last episode had made his own country. That country was known as the Citadel. You see, Dullist had left Veronia to go make his own country. Me and Mikkel decided to leave Veronia and build our own country. We all left Woody behind as king of Veronia, and Woody decided to take the challenge and started to build Veronia up for himself. In episode 2, we discussed the Citadel, and we discussed how well it was rising. However, what we didn't discuss was me and Mikkel's country. This country would be one of the most influential countries in Season 3, but what did it do? Well, now, of course, you may be asking, what country are you talking about? What's its name, and what the hell did I just see? Well, let's get right into that. Our country was named the Vale, and our country was, well, one hell of a country. The first underground country of Season 3, and the first country to contain 2 spawners all at once. It was an underground village with villagers. It had farms, it had tree farms, potato farms, nether wart farms. It had a double storage and a tunnel leading from point A to point B with a zombie spawner and a skeleton spawner, and 2 item sorters for both the spawners. There were also XP farms and plenty of clerics to trade for the rotten flesh. And the bones gave us plenty of bone meal to get plenty of sugarcane to find players to hunt down people. It was the ultimate grind land. And since a zombie spawner provided us all of the zombie villagers, all the prices for every villager we had was cut, meaning we had a pretty much infinite supply of any book that we desired, and we farmed them like hell. Soon, we became the best traders there were in the SMP, trading every single type of book that you would need for your armor. Vale soon became the biggest and the best underground country in Gale SMP history. But wait a minute, what's going on with Dullist? Well, let's go find out. While the Citadel did have everything going for it, it made one major mistake that made the entire country fall. You see, one of the more recent members of the Citadel, being Landon, decided to, well, drop the coordinates to Theory and Dread. Theory and Dread had made a team together and even made a village base. And now that Landon had just given them the coordinates to the Citadel, they decided they were going to attack the Citadel. You see, Dullist never trusted Theory, especially when Theory betrayed Lustania, which led to the fall of Lustania. Drew never wanted him in the Citadel. Now Theory was getting his revenge for that fact. When Landon had leaked the coordinates of the Citadel, Dullist immediately put his country in lockdown. You see, Landon got off the second he realized he made that mistake. The only people online were now Theory, Dread, Dullist, Krillex, and Aiden. I was also online. I was chilling in the Vale, but I told Dullist that I wanted him to defend his own country, so now I could see what the Citadel was capable of. And so the 3v2 began at the Citadel. Theory led the charge and the battle began. That's right, the Citadel defended itself. So you may be asking yourself, wait, what mistake did they make? Yes, their coordinates were revealed, but I don't get it. Why is it such a big deal? You see, Dulles didn't feel comfortable with his country's coordinates being leaked, so he trusted absolutely nobody anymore. He decided to take him and Ghost and leave the country. Now, my brother and Aiden were both fighting for leadership after they had left, but in the end, there was a coin flip and Aiden took leadership, and he decided to take everybody, every single member of the Citadel, to Lusitania. Eventually, Dulles had changed his mind. He did want to be around people, so he decided to go to Lusitania with everybody else with Ghost. And now the big question was, who's in charge? We can't have Aiden in charge again, we all know what happened last time. So let's have an election. And that's exactly what happened. Who were the candidates? Well, Dulles versus my brother. The day before the election, both candidates gave 2 speeches about why they shouldn't vote for the other candidate. The people were convinced of both sides. It seemed like there was a balance between the two, and for the first time, I had no idea who was going to win this vote. Dulles talked more about freedom and defense of the country. He was talking more about building up the country and working on construction and making everything look nice and beautiful, and working on farms and defenses. My brother was also focusing on defenses, however, he was mainly focusing on riches and getting people maxed out netherite armor. He, rather than building everything, wanted to get everybody the materials to build everything. He wanted to get people rich. He wanted to get them rich quickly and efficiently. That is what he would promise if he was president. And finally, election day arrived. How it worked was everyone you could see in the line here were all commanded to go to the area where they wanted to elect the president. As you see, TK just voted for Dulles. Aiden just voted for Krollex. Mikkel just voted for Krollex. Gamer just voted for Krollex. Gamer's girlfriend also voted for Krollex. And Solid voted for Dulles. Krollex had just beaten Dulles, and the celebration began. My brother was now king, and he was working on the country, and I'm not going to list every damn thing that they did, but pretty much Lusitania was on the rise again. Now, I never really discussed the adversaries and what they were, but basically, it was just a guild where everybody was just friendly together. However, when I first made it, me and Mikkel had other plans with it. You see, we just wanted to get everybody all grouped up in one place and try to murder them all. And Lusitania was now our perfect target. The Vale immediately started to get a ton of supplies, and with their mass amount of XP and books, they immediately got 4 extra sets of maxed out netherite armor. And while Lusitania was getting ready for the war, somebody, taking the Vale's side, decided to bomb Lusitania. But the members of Lusitania didn't take this seriously and just left the country in this horrible position. The Vale had always imagined this epic final fight, the 2v9, me and Mikkel versus everybody. However, Lusitania saw a different type of war. Going against the Vale was horrifying. Not only did the Vale contain 2 withers, but there were rumors about the Vale also having end crystals and tons of potions. Most of the members of Lusitania knew exactly what was coming. Some of the members were even bargaining to join the Vale, such as Solid. Dulles wasn't getting on as much, and Solid was taking the Vale's side, asking the Vale if they could fight alongside them. Things got worse for Lusitania when Krollex, the current leader of the country, didn't even log on as much. Since my brother wasn't logging on, Aiden was thinking about causing a revolution to take his throne back to fight against the Vale himself. But the second that my brother got word that Aiden was causing the revolution, he got on and immediately shut it down. However, Lusania's position was now horrible. Everybody was leaving and the supplies were depleting and quickly. And now, members were bleeding and quickly. Pretty soon, only the most dedicated members to Lusania had stayed behind, and things were getting very bad on Lusania's side. Not even Dullest, who's famously known for fighting me, wanted to fight this war, because he and everybody else saw Lusania's fate getting closer and closer by the days. And finally, my brother, realizing that things were getting very bad and out of control, he decided to request the Vale to have a 1v1, king versus king, brother v brother, warlord versus warlord. Both brothers prepared for the 1v1. I was at a very bad significant advantage. You see, I was on Xbox and my brother was on PC. My guy, I don't play on Xbox. For once in my life, I didn't want to do the 1v1, but I had to stick to it. What would my reputation be if I rejected a 1v1 against my brother in the middle of a war? And so, fighting with my brother's rules, I got my potions, my totems, my war starter, and my maxed out armor, and my brother did the same. Landon had left Lusania and started to make his own group, and Tengu also left the area to go make his own group, and Dullest was planning on leaving to also go make his own group. And now, the only people left in Lusania were Krolax, Aiden, and Gamer. The country was now in complete shambles. And so, I headed to Lusania to go fight my brother. Lusania had fallen and the war was over. And this is it. This concludes episode 3 of the Gale SMP. I hope you enjoyed, and there's a lot more to tell.